120 Costa here from Toronto Apologetics. So glad that you could join us. We are continuing in our series on refuting Sheikh Uthman, refuting Sheikh Uthman. And this is, yes, it's video number 6. Yes, to be correct. It is video number 6. And so today we're going to be dealing with a TikTok video where Sheikh Uthman is talking about the law of apostasy in Islam, the law of apostasy. So let's take a listen. Let's bring up the video and we will start. I will stop the video when necessary to make any comments. And so the law of apostasy in Islam, what is apostasy? If you are a Muslim and you leave Islam, the penalty for apostasy is death. So it doesn't matter if you've been raised a Muslim, born into a Muslim family, or if you became a Muslim, converted, or as they say, reverted to Islam. Once you become a Muslim, doesn't matter if it's by birth or by conversion, reversion, and you leave under Islamic law, the Sharia law, the death penalty must be executed against you, whether you're a male or a female. On this point, the 4 schools of Islam, the madhab, they all agree. It doesn't matter if it's the Shafi, the Hanbali, all of the schools of Islam agree that the penalty for apostasy is death. So let's listen in, and we will pause when necessary.
In the Sharia or in the UK, you became a Muslim tomorrow, and then you left Islam. I cannot kill you.
He cannot kill him because the United Kingdom is not a Sharia state. But I think Sheikh Uthman is being a little disingenuous here, because Muslims believe that the Sharia law, which is the law of Allah, the Islamic law, supersedes all other laws, all secular laws, all civil laws, because it is the perfect law of Allah. And so it is not unusual to hear of apostates being killed in Western countries. We've heard of them. It's happened in Canada, the United States, United Kingdom. So it's not unusual for parents, fathers, mainly fathers, and their sons, the brothers of a girl, for example, who leaves Islam. It's happened here in Canada a couple of times, a number of times actually. It's not unusual for them to kill their daughter, or to kill their son who became a Christian or some other faith. So it's not to say that it doesn't happen. It does happen in Western countries. It has happened in Western countries. But his logic here is, well, if it was the UK, I can't kill you. But let's listen into what he says.
If you became a Christian, I cannot kill you.
You could, but he's going to argue that that can only happen in a Sharia state. That is a state, an Islamic state run by Sharia law.
Under the Sharia, not law.
There you go. There you go. Under the Sharia.
Oh, Sharia, that is the law, right? Yeah, but around in environments. You don't like that answer, huh?
Of course he doesn't like it. What happened to religious freedom, Mr. Sheikh Uthman? What happened to religious freedom? You were raised in Mexico, or you were Latin American, or from Mexico rather, and you became a Muslim. Should you be punished for that? Should you meet the death penalty for that? You have the freedom to go and spread Islam. I don't have the freedom to do that in Saudi Arabia, to preach Christianity and preach the Bible in the streets of Saudi Arabia or in Mecca or Medina. They wouldn't even let me into Mecca or Medina. No non-Muslims are allowed into Mecca or Medina. Sounds like an apartheid state to me. I wouldn't be allowed to go in Pakistan and preach openly in the streets about the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'd be killed. I'd be abducted. Or any other Muslim country for that matter. Bangladesh, for example. But a Christian, a Muslim who becomes a Christian, well, he should receive the death penalty. But if a Christian becomes a Muslim, we don't inflict the death penalty. We're no longer under the Old Covenant law, which called for the death penalty for those who left the community of faith, the community of Israel, in Deuteronomy 13, 1-5, and following. But isn't it interesting? There's a double standard here. So let's listen in.
If you're in Saudi Arabia, I was born as a Muslim. Sure. Right. In the Islamic country. Okay. Did you give allegiance? I don't know if you give allegiance.
You give allegiance. Where does Muhammad say that if you give allegiance and you leave Islam, then you should be killed. He doesn't say that. In the hadith, it says, whoever leaves his religion, kill him. He doesn't say whoever makes allegiance to the Islamic State and then leaves, kill him. No, no. If you're a Muslim and you leave, you come under the death penalty. So here I think Sheikh Uthman is playing a little double talk here.
So again, so that's what I'm asking you, right? But it says in the Quran. In the Quran, let me see where it says it.
So the Quran does not say that if you leave Islam that you should be killed. But what it does say in Surah 3, and I'm going by memory in terms of the verse, I think it's 385, that whoever chooses any religion other than Islam, never will it be accepted of him, and he will be a loser, not only in this life, but in the hereafter. And so that verse and that surah from the Quran, Surah 3, Surah Al Imran, that surah was used as the basis for the justification of the law of apostasy, to execute apostates. And so the Quran says that whoever chooses a religion other than Islam, never will it be accepted of him. And this, of course, is the Medinan surah. It's a later surah. And those who do so, Allah will not accept it from you, and you will be a loser, not only in this life, but in the life to come.
I don't know why specifically. Go ahead, show it to me in the Quran.
So notice how he puts him on the spot, right? Puts him on the spot. And again, this person, I believe is a Christian, probably read it in the Quran, or he heard a passage from the Quran, like the one I just gave you. And so here he puts him on the spot, whereas he knows very well what the passage is. Uthman knows very well what the passage is, and he knows what the Hadith says about this as well. And so he is preying on this man's ignorance.
Look it up. Show me where in the Quran does it say that. So if you are living in a country where you don't have a bay'ah, for example, in the United Kingdom or the US, and you change your religion, in Sharia, in the law of Islam, we don't kill you.
Right. So why have apostates been killed in Western countries? He's not being forthright here. This seems to be Sheikh Uthman's interpretation here. It sounds nice theoretically, but in practicality, that is not what has happened.
But if you give bay'ah, if you have an allegiance, and then you betray that, as we consider that treason.
Really? So Muhammad said, if you make bay'ah and you commit treason, you should be killed. No, the hadith is very clear. Whoever leaves his religion, that is the Islamic religion, whoever leaves the Islamic religion should be killed, period. Not because of an allegiance, but because you're a Muslim, because you've made shahada, because you have entered into a covenant with Allah, and you have betrayed that covenant. And so I think Sheikh Uthman here is pulling the wool over this man's eyes here in this case. He's trying to equate it to treason in a Western country. Most countries, if you notice, when was the last time you heard of someone being imprisoned for treason? When? Here in Canada, where I live, our government is a constitutional monarchy where the king of Great Britain is the king of Canada, of the Commonwealth, because Canada is a Commonwealth country. And in our criminal code, in the Criminal Code of Canada, under treason, anyone who harms or tries to kill the monarch, the sovereign, in this case, King Charles III, is guilty of treason. Check the records. When was the last time anyone's been charged for treason in Canada, or even the United States? And so Sheikh Uthman here he's giving a very slippery argument here, because no, it's not like that in the West. There are laws of treason, but not to the extent that Sheikh Uthman is saying that, oh, we prosecute them all the time. Not at all.
For example, the United Kingdom as well, and the US, treason can be punishable by death.
Okay. It can be, but where are the case laws, or when was the last case in the United Kingdom or in the United States passed, or where was a case heard by the Supreme Court of the United States or a circuit court on charges of treason? Rarely do we hear that. But in Islam, treason is apostasy is an act of treason, not against the empire, but against Allah and his messenger, in their case, Muhammad.
Even in Sharia, you're not just put to death. If you do your own whatever at home, nobody comes and checks on you. But if you're out propagating that, they will first ask you, then they will arrest you. They will make sure that you have the capacity. They'll put you to trial. That if you give bay'ah, and now that you're making treason to the bay'ah that you give, you can be put to death.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheikh Uthman. So there you go. So the whole thing about bay'ah and the empire and the kingdom and so forth and so on. When apostasy laws are fleshed out, practically speaking, it's not about bay'ah. It's about you leaving your religion. It's about you leaving your religion. So he's trying, and what he says there about they will arrest you and they'll investigate you and make sure you're in the right mind. Yes, that's true. When a Muslim is put under arrest and they're being charged with apostasy, they do ask them, they question them, they wait for them to recant. They can imprison them, and if they are of sound mind and they deliberately apostatize from Islam, they will be killed. That's the procedure that is put out in the four schools of Islam. They may have some variations, but the fact of the matter is, if you're a Muslim and you leave Islam, you are a target. You are a target. And to say, well, if you live in the West, you're safe. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because they will get you. They will find you one way or the other. And so I don't think Sheikh Uthman is being forthright here.
In the United Kingdom and the US, you don't put people to death for treason? Yeah, but it's a way. Wait, hold on. Do you not put people to death?
When's the last time we heard of someone being put to death for treason in the United States or United Kingdom? How many people are put to death in Saudi Arabia in the so-called the famous Chop Chop block, where they're beheaded, women caught in adultery are dug into the ground and then stoned to death, and the man who's commit the adultery as well. And so apples and oranges, he's trying to compare something in the West with what you find in Saudi Arabia, for example, where people are being killed for whatever reason. And some of those would be apostasy as well.
Death for treason? Are Christians getting killed? Are Muslims getting killed for becoming Christian or Christian?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are, Sheikh Uthman. Don't play dumb. Yes, they are. In Pakistan, Bangladesh, Saudi Arabia, Iran, I know Muslims who became Christians and their life was under threat. I know them personally. So again, there's a lot of pulling the wool over the eyes here.
Becoming killed for becoming Muslim?
Yeah, yes, they are.
I know people that became Muslim in Jordan and were killed by Christians.
On what basis? On what grounds? On what grounds? I mean, that was the first I've ever heard this, but on what grounds? On the Bible? The New Testament says nothing about killing Christians or killing people who've left the church or killing people who no longer identify as Christians. Nowhere does it teach that. If so, Sheikh Uthman, please show me where the New Testament teaches this. I'm waiting. Show me.
For becoming Muslim.
For becoming Muslim.
Yes.
I need to see one of that.
Oh, come.
Yeah. So even this gentleman is shocked to hear that. But again, judging by Sheikh Uthman's argument, he's not being forthright here, especially in the cases of the law of apostasy. You don't have to make bay'ah, an allegiance to the state. That's nonsense. That could have been the case in early Islam under the caliphate and so forth up until it was abolished in 1922. There's been no caliphate since 1922. But Muslims who become Christians are routinely attacked and killed just because they were Muslims and they'd left Islam. And so in this case, I think Sheikh Uthman is not being straight here, not being straight. Well, folks, trust you enjoyed this video, and I would encourage you to subscribe to Toronto Apologetics and also to like the video and to share the video with others. Thanks again, everyone. Until next time, take care. God bless.